Hi, welcome or welcome back to the channel. This is NX Joy, and today's reading we're diving into the question of how are you evolving, or I guess how I'm gonna ask it is like how am I evolving, but depending on which pile you are, it's gonna be different. Yeah, so today we have 4 piles to choose from. We have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. So please take a minute if you need to hone on into your intuition so that you can really just be with your energy, breathe in your energy, and make sure that you choose the pile that's meant for you. As always, you're allowed to choose more than one pile, and I will see you at your timestamps below. All right, see you there. Hey, pile 1, I hope you're doing well. So today's reading, we're diving into the question of how are you evolving, and I just figured that with the shift of the nodal axis into Aries, I would just make a nice video to help the collective know where they're at and where they're going. So how this reading is going to work, we're going to first make sure that this is your reading and that your intuition is on point. And so this is going to be your energy check-in card. And then we're going to shuffle and go into the main question of how you're evolving. And we're also going to look at what you've healed and any closing messages that Spirit may have. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So for your energy check-in, you have the card Rejection in reverse. So the first couple of words that come to mind is not caring. So for you, it feels like the energy you're in right now is that you don't really care what people perceive your work to be as. Like in this card, in this scenario, you can see that it's an artist and there's a lot of different voices in the artist's head. And so it feels to me like there are people around you that are trying to make you change your mind about something that is for you. Like it doesn't have to be like a painting, but it could be like maybe you are someone who is choosing what to do next in their life. For example, it could be like choosing what university or college to go to next, or what jobs to apply for, or what person to be with. Like it kind of feels like you are someone who is rejecting the opinions of others around you and are really just kind of honing into yourself. Like if it was in the upper right, then it feels more like you're rejecting yourself because of the people around you. But because it's in reverse, it feels more, it does definitely feel more like you're rejecting the people around you and what their opinions are of this situation. Yeah. So that's the energy that I have for you. If that sounds like you, you know? I am gonna tune into just like more specific messages. Just kind of want more specific messages on where you're at. And I think it'll be a good segue in terms of how you're evolving. So, Spirit, please tune me into the collective of pollen and let me know what area of life are... I keep getting all areas of life. Like, it feels more like you're coming into your own being, like your own person. Like, I have the image of the Fool that comes to mind. So it feels like you're stepping into a new era of not people pleasing, of not like having to feel like you need to take other people's words into account or their opinions into account. Like, you're really stepping into this era of just being you unapologetically. Yeah. And it feels like you're at this reading because you might have lost some people along the way, of like putting in your boundaries, putting in your morals, putting in your values. And you know, like, for you to continue to live the way you want to live is to kind of like reject how others live around you sometimes, and that's okay when you're in a self-discovery phase. And like, just know that if they are people who really loved you and really appreciated you, then either you can always come back into their life at a different date when both of you like have a better understanding, or like the relationship was never really meant to last that long. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into how you're evolving. How are my pile ones evolving? Okay. Ooh, interesting. You have the Devil. Yeah, so the Devil upright is being able to loosen the grips of bonds and remove oneself from limiting beliefs. So it feels like you are really connecting with your intuition and really working hard to be in control of your life. And because in normal depictions of the Devil, you see two people chained to the Devil, but the Devil's just kind of here walking its path the way it needs to walk. And you know, I feel like a lot of people have a misconception of what the Devil is technically. I personally don't believe that the Devil is just evil incarnate. I feel like the Devil is more of a perception of people's fears thrown onto a symbolic image. So, you know, like, it feels like you might have lost people along the way because you were adopting lifestyles, or you already were reconnecting. I think, yeah, reconnecting to lifestyles that were more in line with who you are. And it was just a major clash with the other person. Yeah, because I keep getting this image of this scenario, this specific scenario of like two people having cultural differences, and then one person going off on their own ways and the other person kind of being like going off in their own ways, I guess, as well. So, and no one's wrong and no one's right. It's just they both have different lifestyles, and that's how it had to happen, you know? So yeah, how you're evolving, it feels like you are not conforming to the social situations around you, and are being able to present yourself to other people in ways in which are authentic to you. So for example, that can look like how you approach social situations culturally. For like, if you want, if let's say you go out with your friend and your friend offers you food and you say no, I don't want it, and they continuously offer you food, they're like, are you sure, like, you don't want it? And then you're like, yeah, I'm sure, like, and they ask you another time, they're like, are you sure you're sure? And you're just like, yeah, like, I'm sure, like, can you just respect what I said? And you know, just like leave it at that. And in your eyes, you might be like, why aren't they respecting my boundaries? Why aren't they respecting my communication? But in their eyes, it's culturally significant to continuously offer food and to be polite and reject the offer in politeness at first, and then to, you know, like, reject it again only to like accept it the third time. Like, different cultures have different ways of really going about social scenarios, and so that's how it kind of feels like. It feels like that in terms of how you're evolving. You're really just stepping into social being in social situations and ways in which you want to be in social situations, and being with people who respect how you go about life and your everyday way of doing things, like that. Okay. So we're gonna look at how you've healed for this to happen. And I think that was a good segue because actually, yeah, it feels like because you've healed, you're able to do that and put your foot down, you know? So how have my pile ones healed? You have welcoming surrender. There's no problem, only destiny being revealed. Yeah, okay, so like as I was saying earlier, it's just like it's not that like anyone was wrong in the situation. It's just like that's just how it had to go, and that's how it had to be, and like you're just surrendering to the process of being who you are, and with that you're just letting go of people who don't operate in the same way, who don't really like have the same cultural norms or values or hobbies or interests, and you're just on a path to finding people that do. And if not, you're on a path to just really understand who you are and really live in a way that you want to live. Yeah. Okay. we're gonna do some last closing messages. So, Divine Source, Spirit, please tune me into pile 1. And this is some last closing messages for pile 1. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, like, this feels very much like okay, so the last closing message I have for you is that if you try to approach the situation with this person again, then the same thing's going to happen. You both will not find justice. You won't find peace. You'll just clearly not be in a place where you see eye to eye. It won't do you any good. Like, that's the closing message I have in regards to the situation of of that person or that situation or that relationship where, you know, you had those differences and you had to let go of that person. But again, I was not even surprised that the Fool came out. And the Fool came out and I was just like, yeah, that I'm in pile 1. You're on a path. Like I said earlier, like I saw the Fool come up in my mind because it was like you're on a path to really being yourself and living in a way that is how you want to live. On a day-to-day basis, you want people to treat you with respect and be able to respect your boundaries and be there for you as you would for them, you know. And you might not have the same cultural norms as some people, but you're meeting people that really resonate in terms of, like, if you don't say you don't want anything, then like you won't get it, you know. Like, there's more responsibility on your behalf to play a part in communicating what your needs are and to be respected that way. Yeah, those are the messages that I'm getting for you, pile 1. So I really hope this helped in terms of how you're evolving. You're doing amazing. Like, you are really sticking to who you are and you're really honing on into your intuition in terms of what you want to be doing in life and how you want to be going about life. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. The people that fell away from your life were meant to fall away. Like, that's just a really clear message. And those people would normally get into your head and deter you from things that you actually love, but now you don't have to deal with that, which is kind of amazing. You get to just kind of move in the way that you want to move, and you can move freely, and you can move and start your journey in your life doing what you want to do without having to conform to other people's standards of you. Yeah, okay. So I hope you like this reading. I hope this helped. I wish you the best wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you take care. Bye. Hey, my pile 2s. I hope you're doing well. I hope you don't mind the music. I just have roommates downstairs, so I just want to feel comfortable filming and make sure that I can vocally progress anything that I need to without really hearing anyone else. So yeah, I hope you don't mind the instrumental music in the background. Let me know if it's like distracting or not. Anyways, so if you chose the second card, then this is your pile, and we're gonna start with an energy check-in. This is the card for your energy check-in, and today's reading we're gonna look at how you're evolving. And I think it's just a wonderful time to look at something like this because we are shifting collectively into a nodal axis of Aries, and I personally really enjoy this because my North Node is in Aries, so it's gonna be a great time. Yeah, okay, so really fast breakdown of the reading. We're gonna first do an energy check-in, and then we're gonna look at the main question of how you're evolving, and then we're gonna look at why you're evolving, like what you've healed, and last but not least, we're just gonna do some closing messages. Okay, so you have the card of gratitude. Oh, it's really beautiful. See if I can. Yes, I can do this in my other setup, so that's really nice. I really like that. Okay, so you have this beautiful card of gratitude. For your energy, you are in an energy of being really grateful, being really abundant, being in a space where you're just very calm and loving and joyful, and you might be in a new beginning, kind of. You might be like birthing out new projects. You might be starting a new business venture. You might be starting a new job, meeting new friends, a new relationship. There's just a really heightened sense of a new beginning and being grateful to have this new beginning. Yeah. Very different from pile 1. This is a really nice energy. So you're really in a space where both your heart and your crown chakra are deeply interwoven and connected. You're doing what you need to be doing, and it's a really beautiful energy to be in. Okay, so we're gonna go look at how you're evolving. So Spirit, please tune me into the collective of pile 2 and how they're evolving. Okay. Yeah, so it feels a lot like you are someone who is making your own decisions right now. Like you have a lot of freedom. Yeah. You made necessary adjustments in your life in order to gain this Wheel of Fortune energy of being able to kind of move in the directions that you want to go about. This feels kind of like a continuation of pile 2, I'm not gonna lie. I mean pile 1, but this is clearly pile 2. It just feels like you're more in an energy of, oh, like, I did the thing, you know, I did the thing, and I'm happy to just be where I'm at. And yeah, so how are my pile 2s evolving? How are my pile 2s evolving? How are my pile 2s evolving? Okay, you have Princess of Wands, you have Knight of Cups, you have 9 of Discs, and you have 6 of Discs. So I think this is your gratefulness and your attitude is only gonna further launch whatever you got going for you, you know? It feels like you're really able to balance yourself at this time, and you're able to come from an emotional place, a really heart-centered place, and use that as fuel to create and to carry yourself into monetary or career success. Yeah. I think you're appreciating what you have right now, and that's really garnering you to, I guess the word should be more empowering, that this is really empowering you to do what you love and create from a space of newness, and a space of novelty, and a space where you have a lot of freedom to make mistakes and grow and really just pour your heart into it. And you're evolving in the way where you will see the monetary and spiritual success of the hard work you do. Aww, that's so sweet. Okay, we're gonna go into what you've healed. I have my pile 2's healed. Soothing impatience. Ooh, I really love that for you, because I think that's so true, because you now have a gratefulness to where you're at now, like I said before, right? And so you've kind of just accepted where you are, and there's nothing to do but wait, like, you know, like, so because you've accepted where you are and you've healed the fact that this is where you're gonna be, you are now using that as motivation to continue to do your passions and to really connect back into your heart space again, and really connect back into the hobbies you love and the skills you love. And you're just, it's not like everything's hunky-dory and like you're living like there's no problems in life. Like, everyone has problems in life, obviously, but it feels more like you know how to adjust and to handle the problems that come at you. There's more patience to you to be like, oh, okay, so this conflict came my way, that's okay, we got this. It's like, it doesn't need to be solved right away. Like we don't need to be in a different place. Okay, how can I say this in a more like concrete way? Okay, so an example of this can be like, oh, you felt like you had to be in a certain place in order for you to create. Like, say you're living in your parents' basement and you are a streamer, and you want to continue gaming and streaming, or maybe playing music and streaming, or doing whatever you do when streaming. And you used to get really mad when your parents would come home, or that when people were home, or that when like things in your space were moved around, or like, you know, like little things in your life that made your day-to-day a little bit harder. Right now you have an easier time dealing with that, and you're more grateful for the fact that, oh, your parents don't charge you rent, oh, your parents give you food every night, and they give you company, and they give you love, and like there's just so much more, like there's a greater perspective, and there's a shift in you changing the way you look at life, and it feels very much in on cloud nine, I'm not gonna lie. And it's a place where a lot of people want to be, and you recognize that you're really happy and grateful to be there. So continue doing what you're doing and continue being in this space, because it'll afford you success, monetary, spiritual success, and emotional success for sure. Like being able to use your emotions to your advantage by, like, for me, like, I'm without music, which is my emotional spot, like I have a hard time getting out of bed. So like using music for me to do my tasks and it makes it a little bit easier. You're like something like that, you know, like you can be like, oh, you pour your emotions into the work you do, or like you use your emotions as fuel, like as a muse to create like a painting or stories, or like if you write like, or like food, you know, like it just feels like there's such an abundance, and it's gonna continue to do and grow the way it needs to, because you're in such a wonderful, beautiful, harmonious place, you know. And because you have a greater perspective, you're able to take anything that comes your way with more grace and more confidence in problem solving. Okay, so we're gonna do last messages for you. All right, so last messages for my pile number 2s. Last messages for my pile number 2s. Ooh. You have the High Priestess and the Five of Cups. And at the back, you have the Fool upright. So yeah, this is a continuation of pile 1. So if, yeah, you might be someone who like watched both piles, and if you are, that just means you're just like in between these two states of evolution. Anyways, so okay, last messages. Again, like I've been saying this whole reading, is that it's not that your life won't continue to be harmonious. There are going to be things in your life that you're going to be upset over. Like there's going to be spilled milk, you know, there's going to be spilled milk, like these spilled cups of water. Things are going to happen. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be very emotionally distressing, and you know, like it might fuck up with your work, but as long as you keep the notion of connection with your higher self, connecting to this space of gratitude, connecting to the space of looking at things from a higher perspective, from a greater perspective, so that you have more patience to deal with all this, then you're good. You're Gucci, my friend. Like, is my age showing? Yeah. So continue to do what you're doing. Oh, you might be Cancer. They're very emotional, and if not, you're just very connected to your emotions, and like they're not emotional as in like they like outwardly express their emotions very like animated. It's more of they're very in tune with their emotions and how they're feeling, and to the point where like they can be how do I say it? They can be very hard shell, they can be very cold, like a crab, you know what I mean? Like they're soft on the inside, but on the outside they'll show you like they don't care, but they really do care inside, you know, like, so, you know, like, being able to have that emotional control, like a Cancer, will help you in your evolving times, you know, like when you're going through creation, when you're in this mode of work in your career and you're making your cash and you're making your dough, there are going to be ups and downs. Just remember that if you put things into perspective, it doesn't have to hurt as bad, you know? If you do some gratitude, some grateful journaling, it's legitimately been proven to help shift perspective and change how you look at the day. So yeah, those are the messages I have for you, my pile number 2s. I hope you enjoyed. I hope they resonated. Good luck with your journey. You are ensured success as long as you continue to do what you're doing and continue to keep that grateful attitude of yours through these ups and downs of life. Yeah, okay. I'll leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the next one too. Take care. Bye. Hey, my pal number 3s. If you chose the 3rd card in the pal selection, then this is your reading. So today we're going to look at the question of how am I evolving? And so we have the question, the questions card tucked away, sorry. This card here will determine your energy and just help you confirm your intuition when it comes to this reading, and to make sure that this is indeed your reading. Next, again, we're gonna go to the question at hand for this video of how am I evolving, and then we're gonna look at what have I healed and any other messages that Spirit wants to deliver today. So your energy checking card is workaholic. You are someone like me who just continually wants to create, and you want to create, and you want to do, and you want to continue, and you don't want to stop. You want to continue and keep going. And if you're not doing it, it's on your mind 100%, and it's just constantly going through your brain if you're not already doing the thing that you're doing, or that you love to do, or that you need to do, you know? It feels like you really want to make the most out of life, and you have this love for life and this zest for life, and that comes out in making sure everything's done the way it needs to. So yeah, so if that's your MO right now, if you're just working a shit ton, if you have work on the brain, then like this is your pile. And if you're not working all the time, then you're telling people that you're working all the time. Yeah, because it is wrapped around the blue communicative throat chakra like colors, it feels like you're telling people that you're working all the time. if you're not actually a workaholic, then you're telling people that you're busy. Maybe you just want some space, and I totally get that. But you know, so yeah, so if this checks out with your energy, then let's continue. So how are my pile 3s evolving? Ooh, we have 9 of Swords, Cruelty in reverse. So you're being more kind to yourself. You also have the 5 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, and you're allowing yourself to take breaks. You're not beating yourself up mentally or emotionally for taking breaks. Like, usually the 5 of Wands has a person fighting like for other people. Let me like confirm that. Yeah, so usually the 5 of Wands has like a person fighting like a group of people, or like just a group of people fighting, right? But in this card, it's just one person on a chariot with one lion running. So it feels more like you are fighting the very linear way of thinking of how your life's gonna go, and being very like, oh, my way or the highway. Like you're very much like letting go of that aspect of yourself. You are recognizing that there's more movements and being kind to yourself, and that being hot-headed over a situation, being angry over or mad at yourself won't change anything. Being mean to yourself won't change anything. Like you're just kind of accepting where you are. Yeah. It feels like no matter if you work a lot or if you just work a lot in your head, like you think about work a lot, regardless if whatever like spectrum you are in terms of like the actual like doing of the work, you are in a space of feeling like you're not enough when it comes to this work. And you know, yeah, you have like the Emperor in reverse, so it feels like you're just not really confident with who you are and where you're going, but you're evolving and changing and letting those aspects of you go. Ow, yeah, exactly. The tower's like bent too now, so this is a really big change for you. Like, self-love can actually change so much of your life. It'll change the way you eat, it'll change the way you sleep, it'll change the way you take care of yourself on a day-to-day day-to-day. It'll change your confidence. Like, self-love is actually so important, and it feels like you might derive a lot of your self-worth from your career. So, and that's okay. Like, we live in a society, and you know, one of the main questions is, what do you do for a living, right? So like, totally fine to feel that way. Just know that you're now in a space where you're not letting that affect you as hard, and you're just being nicer to yourself, that you don't have to live by people's expectations in order for you to be happy with where you're at. You are literally shaking up and changing the way in which you take care of yourself so that you can show up for yourself. Yeah. 3 more cards. So how are my pile 3s evolving? Yeah, you are lifting the oppression that you put upon yourself, or as well as the negative thoughts that you think other people have about you. You're letting that go. How are my pile 3s? If I can just have 2 more cards. Spirit, how are my pile 3s evolving? How are my pile 3s evolving? And those are the 2. Perfect. Alright, you have the Princess of Swords in reverse and the Queen of Wands upright. So how you're evolving, it feels like you're just standing true to, you're honoring your emotions other than just thinking rationally all the time, and other than just being like, I need to push through this, I need to push through this. You're really feeling your way out of this, you know? You're really feeling like, oh, my body is exhausted, let me take a break. Oh, I'm feeling really lonely, let me go hang out with some friends. Oh, I'm feeling like this is just too much for me, I'm gonna have a treat, you know? Like, you're taking this in a way where you're taking care of yourself a lot more. That's the main message. You're evolving where you take care of yourself a lot more. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. Taking care of yourself in this day and age when there's like so much shit is not easy. Especially if you're a young adult right now. Okay, so what have you healed? Ooh, cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. So you're honoring yourself and you're honoring your needs. Again, you're no longer like conforming to societal standards. This is very much like another pile, but anyways, yeah, you just have a stronger foundation, and you are in a position where you give yourself a lot more love, and because of that, you give yourself the care you need, and that's what you've healed. You've healed the self-loathing, you've healed the shame, you've healed the guilt, you've healed the imposter syndrome, you've healed so much of those wounds that you might have had in the past, and now you have the courage to just really be yourself, and that is absolutely amazing. All right, so closing messages for my pile 3s. Closing messages for my pile 3s. Ooh, 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords. Wow, the Fool has shown up in every single pile today. So interesting. The collective is really going through such a new transformative beginning right now. So yeah, it feels like you've just ended something that was really hard for you. It literally made you mentally foggy. It feels kind of like the closing messages are just like a repeat. It's just, oh, like, to wrap it up, you are now thinking with your heart. You're now feeling with your heart, you know? Like you're now able to balance both the rationality and the emotional needs that you have in order for you to take care of yourself. And you're stepping into this new beginning where you're no longer clouded by the heaviness of just thinking rationally of societal expectations, you know, of the negative talk, of the self-doubt. You're really stepping away from that, and like when they come up, just know to continue to feel your way through it when it comes to taking care of yourself. If you're continuing to feel shame about something, maybe either go through the situation again and know that in your heart that was the best option for you to make at the time, and to forgive yourself that way. It just feels like you're being a lot more compassionate with yourself, with the life happy accidents that happen, you know? Like you're recognizing that there's no mistakes, but there's happy accidents, and that whatever happens, you got yourself. You know, at any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to do, good or bad, happy, sad, you know, like regardless of what people think of you, and regardless of the negative self-talk that might be going on in your head, you know, like you are someone who's just cultivating this self-love and self-care to really step into a place where you can handle yourself, you can protect yourself, and you're very confident in taking care of yourself. Yeah. Okay, so that's the messages I have for you. Good luck on this journey and this evolution stage of your life. It's a very new beginning. And you got this, you know? You're doing so amazing. I don't need to tell you that. You're already telling yourself that. So good. Good job. Good job on you. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye. Hi, my pile fours. I hope you're doing well. If you chose the card 4, then this is your reading. So in today's reading, we're looking at the main question of how are you evolving? Quick breakdown of this reading. So this card is your energy check-in card. It helps to confirm that your intuition was correct and that this is your pile. And then we're going to move on to the main question, and then we're going to look at 2 other questions of what have you healed, as well as any other messages. So without further ado, you have the card of prayer. Yeah, so this card of prayer is just something so beautiful. You are in a space where you are kind of like making a decision between 2 options, of one that's a lot more settled and one that's a lot more busy. But you are taking this moment to reflect and to pray so that you can really be confident in the decision that you make, and that you turn the lemons into lemonade. You know, you turn the best of a bad situation. That's your energy right now. You're in a decision mode and you're trying to turn the best of a bad situation. Okay. So let's look at the main question of how you're evolving. How are my pile 4s evolving? Okay. How are my pile 4s evolving? So there's a clear message of having faith in monetary efforts to come your way. The Aeon. Give me a second. Okay, sorry, I'm just learning the Aleister Tarot deck, the Aleister Crowley Tarot deck, so the Aeon. As we near the end of our tarot journey, this is a card of heroine's redemptive montage in a movie. A reel of images that show the heroine taking action to sort out her life. After the lowest point at the end of Act 2, this is Act 3, the resolution, the way back to a happy ending. This card is called Judgment in traditional tarot decks, but Crowley calls it the Aeon in order to highlight that this is where the new Aeon begins. I kept saying Aeon, but it's Aeon, sorry. There is a higher hope to this card that is less on the material plane and more on a spiritual one. You can now see your past life and actions laid out behind you, and you're in a position to judge for yourself whether you like what you see. Since you are not dead yet, you have the opportunity to amend the characteristics you feel need it and to retain those that you are comfortable with. It is a Dickinson's Christmas Carol moment. You are being visited by ghosts who will show you your truth. It is a good time to keep an eye on your dreams if this card comes up in a reading. Okay. Yeah. That's intense. So, yeah, in terms of how you're evolving, you're just in a space where you just went through the worst part of the story, and now you are in the stage of finding resolution. Like, again, you're making lemonade out of lemons. You're making the best out of a bad situation, and you're making a choice to really move forward and to really do what's best for you. And you're taking action on what you need to do. And I'm not gonna lie, this feels like my pile. So yeah, and I just saw 555, so this is really monumental changes for you. And again, change doesn't have to be a bad thing. I used to be really fearful of change, but like, change can also be a good change. Like, for example, I just changed my setup and I'm in a new location, and so like lighting's different, space is different, but it works for me. Like, there's more privacy and there's everything I need in a very clean space, so like it works well. So that's an example of a good change. Right now it feels like you are making the best of a bad situation and making those good changes, and because of that you will gain spiritual fulfillment and receive the fortunes that you were meant to this lifetime. This is my spiritual pile. Should have already gotten that through prayer, but like, damn, yeah. Okay. So, what have my pile 4's fields? What have my pile 4's fields? What have my pile fours healed? Okay, 2 more shuffles until I cut the deck. What have my pile fours healed? Alright. Oh wow, that's funny. You also have welcoming surrender. So this came up in another pile. I forget what pile it is because my head gets a little like in the moment, in the zone. So yeah, but you are in a state where there's no problem, only destiny being revealed. Oh yeah, okay, so this was pile 1. So if you chose pile 1 too, this is like a circular moment for me. I'm not gonna lie. So very similar messages, but this feels more of like more spiritually heightened, more emphasis on fulfillment, not through emotional gain, but also like deeply spiritual fulfillment. Yeah. Okay. Last messages. Alright, any other messages you want to give for pile number 4s? Yeah. Okay, next one. In terms of what you healed, I didn't talk a lot about it. Apologies. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep that there. But it's like you just kind of healed being in the moment. You've healed the fact that, like, again, you're kind of over petty drama. You're just kind of surrendering to the fact that you're here now and you're gonna make the best out of the bad situation, you know? Like, you're gonna do your best in order to fulfill the life dreams that you want. And you're just surrendering to the fact that you live where you live. You're happy to be who you are, and you're surrendering to the fact that sometimes life already has things planned out for you, and it's just a matter of uncovering and, you know, having things being revealed to you and choosing to live a life where things can be revealed to you that way. Okay, last messages for my pile number 4s. Thank you. Okay. Well, technically this was supposed to be this. Alright, so you have the Lovers, the Sun, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So it feels like your relationship satisfaction is coming. It just, there's just a little bit of a delay. There's just a delay, just a little bit. But like that new beginning when it comes to your emotional fulfillment, especially in romantic relationships, is on its way, you know? And sometimes people need different things out of romantic relationships. This is just a reminder that sometimes people see relationships as nourishment, and sometimes people see relationships as more of a passionate, emotional fulfillment. So like, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's just like being able to kind of meet your partner that way. And I feel like that's what will like grant you emotional satisfaction, is once you kind of understand that people have different ways of seeing relationships. And, you know, I feel like you can be happy with this new beginning in the relationship once you recognize that, like, they're not a clone copy of you, and they don't want to be, and you don't want them to be. You kind of just have to accept them as they are. That's what, and understand the meaning of what unconditional love truly is. Love will come into your life, and the closing messages that you have is that, yeah, that love will come into your life, and it's delayed right now only because there's just a perspective shift that you need to have that will just kind of give you a greater sense of where the other person's coming from, and you know, it'll help emotionally fulfill you and turn these cards upright, you know. So in terms of this reading, we began with your energy being in a place where you're turning a bad situation into a good situation, making lemonade out of lemons, but you also have a decision to make when it comes to your life, either being more settled or more busy. But just know that when you're like, as you're evolving at this time, you're going to be making sound judgments that will lead you to spiritual success and good monetary fortune too, you know? And just being able to be grateful and let go and understand that there are more characters in this play, there are more people here. It will help really change your relationship so that you can see what they have to offer and see that they look at relationships differently, and maybe having a conversation on the way they look at relationships, where you can just have a better perspective of, oh, okay, so like they see love more as nourishment, let me do more acts of service. Or, oh, they see love more as a passionate thing, let me give them more physical touch, you know? And you know, you're just gonna be very fulfilled, very happy, like emotionally overflowing, and just be in a space of gratitude. But for now, yeah, you're just at a space where you're like deciding and praying to find like a good solution. And so how you're evolving is that you are making better judgments, and you're making better decisions for yourself that help you see a greater perspective, and you're working with spirit now. Other than just thinking from a rational headspace, you're really honing in on the different aspects of yourself, your mind, your heart, and your gut, the 3 different brains, as a lot of medical journals like to call it, or, you know, as philosophy likes to call it, or psychology likes to call it, the ego, the superego. Like, there's a lot of different names for these 3 different types of ways of being that goes on within every single person, but you're really tuning into those modes of being and balancing them out so that you can make judgments that are for your highest good, that really give you a greater perspective so that you can work with spirit and then, you know, surrender to what is for you. How do I make that more concrete? How do I make that more like real? Okay, let's say you are an artist and you've been having a really hard time because your art hasn't been making you any money, okay? So there's the version of you that's like, oh, like, I can change my career and do something else, or I can really settle in and double down into my art and then continue to really like do my thing. So with these 2 decisions at hand, you're gonna be making a judgment, like a decision, like a call to where you're gonna be making a choice that's most beneficial to you. you're gonna not, it's gonna come from a place that is holistically the best for you. And it'll give you greater perspective so that the relationships that you have in your life will also feel a lot more fulfilled and loving. Yeah. But again, that is a delay thing, so it is up to you to make those choices and decide on shifting your perspective in order to have this fulfillment in your life. Again, Tara's only here to tell you where you're at, not, do the work. You still gotta do that. And I know you can. You got this. You got this. Alright. Well, I hope that motivated you to continue to do what you're doing and to give you confidence in making the right decision, because that is how you're evolving right now. You're really mastering being able to decide for yourself on where you want to go in life. And I think that's such an important skill to have, decision making, very important. So yeah, I really hope you like this reading. I hope it brought you clarity and I just hope it was fun for you to listen to. Have a great day, night, or evening. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.